Bună ziua! Bine ați venit la un nou episod al podcastului Scribul. Astăzi suntem onorați cu prezența domnului Martin Salamon, directorul Institutului Cultural Român din Tel Aviv. How are you, Martin?
Bună seara! Mulțumesc pentru invitație. I'm fine, thank you very much.
It's a great
Thanks for the
pleasure.
invitation.
It's a great pleasure having you on my podcast. And we talked a bit in the past about your role in the institution. So could you present yourself a bit and talk about your experience and career?
Yeah, well, I'm a career diplomat. I was posted in Tel Aviv as a director of the Romanian Cultural Institute back in 2018. Before that, I was posted in Greece, in Thessaloniki, for 6 years, from 2012 until 2018. And before that, my professional background is academic and political journalism. So I was teaching in high schools and universities in Romania. I also studied and I have my PhD in sociology and my master degree in political sciences. And I used to work for foreign policy journals for about 12 years. And after that I switched to diplomacy. So now I have about 12 years in the diplomatic corps of Romania, foreign.
So what kind of drew you initially to the academia in general and the philosophy and political sciences specifically?
What was my...
What drew you initially?
Well,
what was the kind of attractive?
I was always interested in public affairs and international relations and diplomacy. I remember in my childhood taking from the shelves of my parents' library books with flags and memorizing the flags of the countries and looking on maps, where is this country, where is that one, memorizing the capital cities. So I had kind of a fascination about that, and in the communist Romania that was quite something very utopical to think about traveling and seeing foreign countries, because Ceausescu's Romania was a closed country, so we couldn't really travel and see those countries. We just could.
So you basically wanted to be an explorer, yeah.
So maybe this initial
fascination, shall we say,
fascination drove me to this path, even though it wasn't my first step in my professional life, because I was teaching firstly for many years, and I used to teach other subjects, not necessarily this, but slowly I followed my
passion,
and it became a profession.
Mm-hmm. So there's a close kind of connection between politics and journalism. It's very pronounced in the media. You know, social media today is the overarching kind of, they have the monopoly on information and processing information and truth. So could you speak about, trying to maybe separate between the truth and the non-truth, shall we say, as a journalist, in your experience?
My professional experience as a journalist was in the time when yet the social media wasn't so strong. It was only in the beginning, and the only role of social media was exactly this: socializing, contacting each other, not influencing the public opinion. And in that time, the quality journalism, the rule of checking the sources from several sources, not just one source, and the credibility of the quality press was still on a different appreciation, different level. Since then, things changed. Fake news became mainstream, and it's really a direction that it's very, very tough and difficult for journalists to survive in this entourage. I think if I
the
would
atmosphere, this
today,
climate.
Internet changed everything. It's of course it has a lot of advantages, because now we can speak on video anytime with no cost with anybody from everywhere. If we have loved ones far away, we can anytime call them and see them on the camera. But in the same time, internet changed the paradigm, and it became a huge jungle where wild animals are everywhere,
roaming free,
and dangerously threatening our souls. So I'm not very optimistic about the future of the media. We can see how the world changed in the last decade, let's say, if not more. And not only media, but politics, and general atmosphere is different than 10, 15 years ago, when I remember our only worry that time was to survive financially as a media company, or our main worry was the financial crisis, the Lehman Brothers.
The Lehman Brothers.
What happened in
Goldman Sachs.
2008, Goldman Sachs. Those were very beautiful times if we think back, considering what happened since, what happened with the pandemic, wars, and all this is connected with the internet and fake news. Let's go back to the pandemic. How many fake news were moving around and panicking people and influencing our mental health, and now with the wars, Ukraine, Gaza, and I hope I'm wrong, but I think this is only the beginning of new era, which which is not what we wish for.
So what do you think the role of culture is in the current climate on the world stage? What does culture contribute, if any more, to society, to the media, technology?
Yeah, well, culture might be the cleaning element, might be the clean air in this atmosphere, poisoned climate. Culture is oxygen that we must have in order to breathe, and art and culture can make people recognize what is truly a value and what is not. Unfortunately, when you compare the impact of a cultural
maybe the
event
economic
or
sphere,
or a public figure from the cultural field, if you compare it with the impact of an influencer on social media, it's not a very good proportion.
Yeah,
but
it's not a balanced ratio.
Maybe elites can still distinguish and remain somehow clean and enlightened.
Enlightened. What do you think about that term? When people call other people enlightened, when we put people on a pedestal and call them our leaders, religious figures, community builders. Influencers are kind of like this in the modern world. But I'm not talking about, the shallow type of influencer. I'm talking about, the mega preachers, like a figure like Jordan Peterson, per se. People like that. What do you think the role of such a crowd pleaser or gatherer?
They might be a danger if they don't filter their messages and they follow only popularity and they follow only the number of likes and followers, but they also can be potential positive influencers if they do it right, and we must rely on them. We can't close ourselves in small elite communities where we do it our way and try not to
be influenced by the outside world.
To isolate ourselves from them.
They cloistered and sheltered.
Because these clusters won't work. It's only to please ourselves and make ourselves feeling safe. But as cultural influencers, we also have the role to try to make an impact. So we have to try to combine, in a way, the social media, to use it to make it work our way, and try to adapt.
Harness its power for our power means,
Yeah.
shall we say.
We should try to adapt to these times as we can. It's not easy.
Yeah.
We are not used to this kind of immediate impact and consumerism that is nowadays the mainstream.
Yeah.
But
It's a prevailing economic consumerism. It's not an output, of intellectual property. It's only consumerism. It's the main driving force of the economic. Yeah. So, out of all the positions that you held in office politically as a public figure or as a private person, what you're teaching, what do you see is the role of a figure, a public figure, someone who is an authority, who is a leader as well?
Well, as any leader, you have to be a model for others. You have to behave as you wish others to behave. And more of that, you have to assume more responsibilities than average people. You have to make more sacrifices and to give up on your own necessities in many circumstances, starting with private time that you have to invest in your
Duties.
and with compromises that you make in your day-by-day life with your family and your friends. Sometimes you wonder if it works, because many times you envy those people that are not
We're free of politics and
they are just enjoying being regular people and not having all this pressure,
the burden.
and burden, and well, there is a way out, of course, always, and my advice for those leaders who feel that it's too much for them to let others
Take the
step.
reins.
Yeah.
Take the reins. Yeah.
Because
Of power.
you can be addicted to power and to privileges. You can become addicted, and that's not a good thing. You have to give the possibility to others to demonstrate their abilities. So you have to know when to step back.
Yeah. So you spoke before a little bit about the power of culture and its kind of way of distinguishing between truth or, trying to purify the swamp or the bog that is modern, current contemporaneous modern society. What do you think is the power of culture, of artistic expression, of intellectual kind of intellectualizing the world and your surroundings? What to give meaning or representation in music, art, visual art, poetry, writing.
And I think as an event organizer, which we are mainly, right, we have to be good in distinguishing, not just the quality of the artistic act, which is mainly the criteria, of course. But many times it's also about the experience of knowing people, of recognizing who can transmit a message and who cannot, even though their art might be valuable, but sometimes
Has to
subjective
be accessible.
things,
Yeah.
or there are things that are connected to subjective issues that are internal our kitchen that
Yeah.
so you have
Intrinsic
to
way
know
you say.
how
Yeah.
to distinguish and to select. We are selectors of a big bowl of all kind of things that are proposed to us, or we have some material that is available, and how to adapt it to the local audience, in our case the Israeli public, the Israeli cultural consumer, what is fit, what isn't. Sometimes it's not necessarily a very objective decision. It's influenced by, by budgetary
Constraints.
By possibilities or impossibilities to do some things. Sometimes we would like to do something else, but we just can't, so we pick our second or third option. But still, it's important to distinguish. This is the main quality.
Yeah, so you're in this role as a manager of the Cultural Institute for Romanian Culture Institute, but your previous role was as a counsel for Saloniki in Greece. So how do the two positions pair one against the other? What are the goods, what are the bads?
It's true. These are two different sorts of diplomatic activity, because a consul is mainly focused on pragmatic problems, on documents and bureaucratic problems that are connected to the personal issues of Romanian citizens or citizens of the host country or third-party citizens who are applying to consular services. And of course, there is also a part of public diplomacy there. As a cultural diplomat, it's only the public diplomacy, and it's much more deepened and much more substantial. So it was like switching to something that is more deep, more intellectual, less time-consuming as day-by-day work at consular office, where you have to deal with people waiting on the line and demanding to solve their problems. You have more time to plan, to create a vision, and you are less overwhelmed by so it's more on my personality, let's say, but it doesn't mean that I didn't like being a consul as well.
Yeah.
So you never know, it might be my next post again.
Yeah, so you're in academia,
It's a
you're
possibility.
also a pedagogue, a teacher. You're also, I don't know if people use that word, it's only reserved for people you talk about, like the elite who are cloistered in their kind of intellectual Platonian caves. You're a teacher and you're an academic and you're a public diplomat figure. Out of the three hats, which one would you choose every day to leave the house with, or to wear on top?
Yeah, well,
To
as long
adorn.
as I am in the foreign service, I am a diplomat, and this is my hat that I wear day by day. I have a diplomatic passport in my pocket, and I travel with that one. But of course, this doesn't last forever, and there is a time for retirement. This time is slowly approaching. I still have about 10 years to go. After that, I'll probably switch my hat with that of sociologist, writer. I published a few books already on sociology and on oral history. All my experience with people, life experiences, I think are worth to be written. And that's my plan for the next.
Yeah, to put down on page.
Yes,
Put
exactly. I don't really plan to go
pen to
back
paper.
to cathedra to teach.
Academia, yeah.
I don't.
People
think
don't know
that
what it's
will
a
happen.
cathedra, but it's academia.
Exactly. I won't be a full-time pedagogue anymore. Never say never, but I don't plan to. So I'm making plans only for after retirement, and that's maybe journalism is to be an analyst for some foreign papers.
It's a high profile kind of
So,
job, but also very
Depends.
low key.
but nowadays you don't know what will happen tomorrow, so it's
Yeah.
a little bit far to
Yeah.
make plans. But the answer for your question is that now I'm wearing the hat of a diplomat, for sure, categorically.
Yeah. As a sociologist, you talk about social media, you talk about the influencer kind of sphere where people don't necessarily know what is true or care to research, even in the slightest bit. So what do you think is the trajectory? You hinted in a couple of sentences that it's quite bleak, I think, in an encompassing perspective. But what do you think is the next logical progression of from this point?
Wow, it's a very good and very difficult question. Where is this going to proceed, right? This direction of diluting media and public influencing. After the fall of the communism in Romania, there was a saying that before the fall of the communism, we couldn't say anything. Censorship was total, and nothing could be published from the truth, right? After there were some years of total, let's say, chaos, liberty of press, hundreds of new papers. There was no internet yet. We are talking about the beginning of the 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
In 89, in December, was the Romanian Revolution, and like mushrooms, many
After during
papers, printed papers,
cropped out.
and the phenomenon was that nobody cared anymore of what was written, because before we couldn't say. We wanted to listen, but nobody could tell. Then, for many years of this non-aggregate public messaging, there was so many voices that you couldn't distinguish, and it was completely without a big noise. Then slowly, the dust settled,
Yeah.
and the main quality press medias arise and remain stable, and crystallized somehow the public opinion. What is the left? What is the right? What is the... So maybe this internet boom and the boom of the social media somehow is similar, and I hope it's similar, that we are still in this big boom that the internet created, like the freedom of expression for everybody, anytime, any moment, real time, through the smartphones and other gadgets. But maybe the dust will settle down, and then there will be something that will regulate it. There will be laws. There will be...
Yeah, that's a good transition. What do you think about the uprising, or the kind of native state of AI? Nativity, we shall see. Shall we see?
Yeah, that's a new development that is even newer than everything that we spoke about, and endangers.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple of times about AI
intelligence
and art in AI. Yeah.
Our capacity of distinguishing as humans might be endangered. I'm maybe too pessimistic, but I don't see it as a positive development. I can't predict what will happen with the AI, with this fast-growing element of the new technologies. If we lose the control, as we lost control of internet and as we lost control of social media, this might be 1,000 times or 1,000,000 times more dangerous because it could control us. Even if we, speaking about social media, we don't control it, but maybe it can't take over on our life. It's only playing games with our minds. Artificial intelligence can replace us as humans, so that's even more dangerous. And we are not, I don't think we are prepared for that as a society, as humankind. If you look around, we are not prepared to shake hands with our neighbors. We are not prepared to agree on basic things.
Yeah, that was my next point. So when we have all these different authorities, shall we say, and different religions, philosophies, perspectives, different countries, different flags, different languages, what do you think is the most unifying element or notion that humanity shares?
The most unifying should be value of life, right? Life is the basis for everything, and we treat life like it's a given. We don't value it as we should. We treat it or cynically, and we are not aware of how fragile is our existence. We treat it cynically as a matter of, financial issue, like the big pharma does, right? Looking only for profit. Doctors or the big pharma industries are extremely cynical with this issue. And there is the religious element, right? When religions become tools of
governments,
leaders, and tools of
companies,
re-evaluating life as a given, right? Life for religious fanaticism is just another moment that you can give away easily.
It's just a mundane kind of
become
thing.
a shahid or whatever. To sacrifice it on the purpose of political and politicians treat lives of people, sending them to wars just as items, and this should be
treating them like objects rather.
So this should be our common
ground basis
value of life, and I'm not seeing that. Those who are healthy are looking to life as a given and don't care about having their lives just as a bubble, soap bubble. They are not conscious. Those who are conscious are maybe worrying too much of being sick, and they are not living their life as they should. And that's just, I don't know, the day by day
Yeah.
psychological, individual consideration. But if you go to the public sphere, then what I said, life is not valued by leaders, by religious leaders, by political leaders, by global leaders.
You're a politician, you're a public figure, you're a diplomat. If you could convey one optimistic or enlightening message that could, wrap it up in a nice bundle, what would it be, if any?
Yeah, as a cultural diplomat, I would put emphasis on the value of soft power. Soft power meaning the power of conquering by being attractive, not by being aggressive. So conquering could have a positive and not warrior meaning, right?
To captivate.
Conquering the heart of
to
lady,
captivate
right?
the heart of the
Also,
public.
love is conquering, right?
Yes.
So
It's all consuming.
so soft power is about conquering and becoming desirable as aim of cultural diplomat for his country is to make it desirable for the others. This can have several consequences. For example, to take the most pragmatic ones, that they will go and visit that country and spend money as tourists and cultural.
It's just a tax write-off.
But of course, that's not the only impact we wish. We wish to have an impact in the hearts, and that's not very difficult in Israel because there is already a basis of those who came from Romania and keep it in their hearts. Unfortunately, they didn't transmit the culture and the language to their successors, to their children and nephews, for historical reasons, going back to the establishment of the State of Israel. I don't want to go into the issue. Everybody knows it. But anyway, we have a fertile ground in Israel. We just have to put the seeds, and that's what we do by cultural diplomacy and by soft power. In these times when hard power came back to the political agenda in so many places all around the world, and especially here in Israel and in the Middle East, I think what I can say and we can do with our not very strong tools is to push it with our soft power and try to prove that it's more better than do it with hard power. Just think about America. The Americans didn't conquer the world by their army, which is the
Well, sometimes.
biggest. Yeah, but mainly not. Mainly not. They just
They
contributed
just
in
influence.
the Second World War's outcome, of course, but they lost in Vietnam, and they are still locked in all kind of local conflicts. But the American way of life is not desirable, or was for so many decades desirable because of that, because people was forced to drink Coca-Cola or to eat McDonald's or to watch Hollywood movies. No, they loved it. People loved to do that. It's another story that now we know that Coca-Cola and French fries are not so healthy, but the American way of life, the American dream, was desirable because of kind of soft power conquering the
Slowly influencing
yes
the kind of events.
Hollywood, by
Hollywood
jazz
is a great example.
music,
Yeah.
right? And still we have this influence from there, and we
We adopted
Adopted.
some of the elements of the American culture.
so this is soft power, and in the long term it was more effective for the Americans than the wars that they were doing in the world.
It costs a lot of taxes. You know, you can't tax the population every year or every month extra kind of taxes for waging foreign wars. So, well, thank you so much for agreeing to appear on my podcast and having to interview you. Do you have any closing statements?
Well, I want to thank you and to thank you to all the Romanian, Israeli Romanians who are still attached to the Romanian Cultural Institute and coming to our events. And I hope more and more descendants, second, third generation Romanians living in Israel will come and visit us in the future, because we need you.
Yeah, okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.